Schlafly Pumpkin Ale, special release, 8% alcohol. Let's give it a shot. Seeing how it's almost October, I mean, we're barely broke into September, but keeping the ball rolling with the Oktoberfest and the pumpkin beers. I've had this beer before in the past, forgot about it. Now that I'm actually documenting everything, here we go. This is a nice pumpkin spice beer. Slightly sweet. It gets close to that pumpkin pie effect, but it doesn't cross that line. Sweet. The ale it's a heavy beer. Let's put it that way. The alcohol content is 8%. That's high. You're going to get weighed down by this beer eventually. However, it is a nice pumpkin spiced beer. It's an ale. You get a slight bitterness. There's no bite to it, but there is a slight bitterness. I could see this might get old after a few just because of the spices in the ale. The spices kind of have that bitter effect as it is, but the ale adds another bitterness to it, and I just feel like, I don't know, maybe your tongue gets a little annoyed after a while, if not your mouth in general. But all in all, the sweetness of the pumpkin spice, it's not overly sweet. It's just enough sweetness. I wouldn't say it's not enough, but there is some sweetness there to make it enjoyable. I wish it was slightly sweeter. However, I think this is what they were going for. I think this is what they were trying to do. It's not a bad beer. I just think all that, the spiced bitterness and the ale bitterness, to me is going to annoy me after a while. I don't see drinking too many of these. My drinkability out of this beer, it's not a heavy beer. The ale is not bad by any means. It's supposed to be slightly bitter, but what I like about it, there's no bite to it. The pumpkin is very respectable, but I could only see drinking 2 or 3 of these. Clearly meant for the fall, autumn, or October month drinking. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give this a 6. This is kind of enjoyable. If this was available and that's all that was available for pumpkin beers at the time, yeah, I could drink this. However, I have my favorites. I'm very biased. I'm very jaded by my beers that I do like that are pumpkin. And I think that's why this one would kind of get dismissed. However, if you want a pumpkin spice beer that's slightly sweet, it's an ale. Slightly on the heavy side, but this is actually great. If you're outside on maybe a cloudy day and maybe you're going, if you're allowed to, if you're going to pick pumpkins, this would be a perfect beer to bring along. I'm not encouraging it if it's not allowed. However, I don't know many pumpkin patches that allow people to drink alcohol. Not saying that they should. It's just a thought. Let's put it that way. However, this is still a respectable beer. So again, that's the St. Louis Brewing Company, Schlafly Pumpkin Ale, 8% alcohol.